I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro.
Here we go. Team No Sleep Thursday. Today's Thursday, right?
Today is Thursday, man. We Friday Eve.
I don't know.
Friday Eve, baby.
I don't know what it is. It's hectic around these parts, brother. Hectic. I tell you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we always blessed, man. Definitely blessed to have another show, another episode.
That's true.
More conversations. So we rocking.
I should stop complaining. Is what you're pretty much saying, right? I'm here, so I should stop complaining. Okay.
Hey, you blessed. So since you blessed, yes, you should stop complaining. There you go.
I love it. Keely Dunn is in the building. We see you, mama. Look at that. Thank you very much for the compliments there, Corey. What's she say here? Corey likes the animated logo. Well, see, we don't want to talk about that right now, because we're gonna redo some revamping on the lab. We love what we're doing over there, but we're gonna step it up a couple of notches. But thank you for that commentary right there. Right, we took a little bit of time trying to figure out what we're going to talk about tonight because there's stuff going down. Oh, hold on. Dad's in the building. Hey, happy anniversary. Yeah, happy anniversary to my parents tonight. 54 years today. Man, that's not bad at all, right? 54 years today.
That's a blessing in itself. 54 blessings. You know what I'm saying? They didn't took 54 trips together around the sun.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you can't complain about that. I got a shout out to my oldest son, Montel Allen, coach at Lehigh University. Happy birthday to him today.
Look at that.
So man, a lot going on.
You buy him a car?
No, actually, you know what? I can't afford that right now. I wait. The Team No Sleep checks ain't cutting it that big just yet. But definitely got him a little something that he can utilize, man. And he's in knee deep in getting ready to prepare for the season, coaching and everything. So, blessing, shout out to him.
Definitely. Love it when the youngsters are doing good, following in the right direction that parents set for them. So that's always a good thing.
Yes, sir.
Like we were saying, man, there's stuff happening in the sports world, and there's stuff happening obviously around what we like to talk about, the social impact of sport. But there wasn't anything really that, for me, grabbed me this particular week, right? The Olympics are done. That wrapped up. It was, bittersweet, just because so much positive and so much controversy around it. Again, the COVID thing, athletes that were ceasing to play and ceasing to perform because of wanting to take care of themselves from a mental perspective. There were athletes that didn't make it for whatever reason. But talk to me about how you felt it all wrapped up. The whole full the regular Olympics. And now we got the Paralympics coming too. I'm gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
watching that too because that's dope as well. But talk to me about how your thoughts of how the overall Olympics wrapped up.
Yeah, overall Olympics, I think they did a good job. They did better than I anticipated, especially from a standpoint we got the chance to watch it and
Hmm.
got a chance to see some of our heroes and people representing the United States and other countries where they're from and people winning gold. I think again, gymnastics stole the show.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I forgot her name. Lou. I mean, what's her name? What's the young lady's name that won it all?
Was
The
it
overall.
Sunny Lee? Sunny Lee
Sonny
Lou?
Lee, yeah,
Something like yeah.
I think she's a star in the making.
Oh yeah.
Her personality, the way she carried herself, the way she kind of took over when Biles wanted to sit down and she took over and won. I think she's awesome. I believe, track and field. I thought we did very, very good in the shot put. I think we won both for first and second. Those two boys competing against each other. It was good to see the Jamaican team still being
Man,
elite in the sprint
dominating,
competitions.
dominating.
uh, the hurdles and the young lady Ashley, I forgot her last name, Ashley something, the one that won the hurdles and broke the record. It was just interesting to see, like you said, their backstories and everything. So the Olympics is great. Like I said, from our standpoint, but then when you take a step back and look at the whole thing, man, it was a big L for Tokyo, Japan. Unfortunately, it's
It,
just
it
you
was.
know they're just not going to be able. I just don't really see how they're going to be able to recover economically with that situation going on. They put billions and billions of dollars to make sure they had this event, and they got none of that money back with no tourism, no fans. They'll get a little bit of money, I'm sure, residual from the TV contracts or whatever they signed, but that's nowhere near the money they were anticipating
No.
bringing in. So it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be interesting to see the platform going forward with the Olympics. Like, who's the next city that's going to have it? And, is COVID still playing a big factor in our everyday life at that point to see, do we have these kind of events? Or if these events happen, can we stop them? Can we lessen invest in that kind of money in them? Because, this is a blueprint for disaster as far as I believe as our local economy is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, they flew over to Paris, so Paris is next, and they're already preparing. So that's definitely going to be an interesting challenge. We'll see how that works out. I believe the Summer Olympics are in Los Angeles, though, right? So, so,
Yeah.
so Southern Cal, you guys down there are now building properties, doing whatever you need to do to prepare for that. It's going to be an interesting situation to see how we all shake out again if we're to a point where, again, like you say, can we have actually people in the stands? What are going to be the health protocols? I see Keely again in the audience, and she did some extensive coverage of the game. So I would love if she's still there if she could leave a comment about her perception of how the games went, from the athlete perspective and just from a watching perspective. I'd be really interested to see, since she did some pretty extensive. And Keely, if you're still there too, put a link to your channel in the comments so we can make sure that folks go check that out. But
Absolutely, absolutely.
but
Go ahead, my man.
it's funny that you mentioned track and field. Was it Carl Lewis? He was not
Yeah,
happy with our sprinters though. He
yeah.
was not happy with the relay team because they didn't represent and they didn't bring the gold home. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now Allison Felix,
Yes,
she
her.
came
She
she
got
she
down.
came out and did what she needed to do, right? She
Yeah,
went home with a couple of extra suitcases because she had all that metal in her back pocket.
yeah, but I mean, come on, man. Carl Lewis need to get out of the limelight, man. This ain't you no more. You're not the track guy, and I understand you can have your opinion because you were the goat when you were in track.
Back in the day, yeah.
But yeah, back in the day. But we got to give props where props is due. The Jamaican team and those
Hmm.
Jamaicans, man, they are really. I think it's something to say the way they train and the way they prepare, and the guys they are getting to be able to build those athletes and come and play. Let's also remember, I think the Jamaican team is really, they prepare those athletes just for that one event, to get to
Yes,
get to that get to the Olympics
that's a
and
good
win the
point.
sprints. Where our athletes are doing multiple things. They're in college, they're going to school, they got a lot more social aspect that's kind of going on in their life besides just track. Where I believe, I don't know this for him, but I think Jamaicans are just preparing those guys to get ready for this event and get ready to rock and roll and represent their country. And that's been their niche. That's Jamaica's niche, to get in the Olympics, and they have really good sprinters. And I applaud them for that.
Yeah,
But I mean, for Carl Lewis to make come on, man, and have your opinion, that's cool and all, and I get it, man, and I hear it, but let them people shine. Let them people get
yeah,
their just due, and let them, work hard and give back. to whatever, because your comments are nothing but part of the problem and not part of the solution,
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. No, anyone can make those blind comments and statements on Twitter, right? But
Yeah,
I haven't seen him get on nobody's network backing up what he said, right? He's only did it in 144 characters online. I'm just saying, I'm not calling the man
yeah.
out, but if you got
But
something
even
to say, try to be a little more.
but even if you did say it, if you said it on a news channel, okay, what are you offering to help? What are you doing to help them now get back to the glory of gold? I mean,
Yeah,
everyone has an opinion, but are you going to do anything to help them get back to glory of gold? Since you're such an insightful person and you want to do this, why don't you tell them something to be constructive and get better, get ready to beat the Jamaicans, or
yeah.
how could they beat the Jamaicans? I don't see him doing any of that. He just wants to live back in his glory when he won, and now his time is over.
Mm.
Now just hey, let me make a comment just to be relevant again.
Why you talking about the old man like that?
I'm just being truthful, man. You're not. He's not being relevant.
That's true. Okay, so Keely talk about pretty much empty stands for field hockey. That's terrible. That's not a good joke. That's bad. We need to get. See, I would get into it if I knew the rules. Like I can't get into any sport if I don't understand the rules and kind of the strategy behind it. So,
Hmm.
I hear, I don't know if it's icing in field hockey as well, but I know that's in ice hockey. I got to figure it out. We got to get Keely on here to kind of give us a
But
drawing.
but I think to her point, in a world orbit, because we don't know nothing about it. In a global audience, they should have some fans. There's somebody's teaching that sport and somebody's playing that sport, and people should be able to watch it. I think, man, the Olympics is just a bad. It was bad, bro. It was just bad. I don't even know how you can. It's just bad. No fans. No one there. No one cheering you on. No one giving you that moral support or support from from the fan structure. And we got to go play. And it's just like crickets.
Man.
You can hear all the noise. You can hear everybody talking. You can hear the coach giving instructions.
Pretty
Everything
much.
is
Yep.
there. Yeah, it's like playing a practice game, and then you're asking me to be as just excited as I was playing in a regular game when there's full of fans. Now, don't get me wrong. That might be the new norm. I hope not. I hope
Yeah.
not. That may be the new norm. But what we're used to, at least in the United States, we're used to having someone cheer our name, clap for us, or boo for us, whichever one you want to
Yeah.
call it,
Yeah.
and be able to participate in it. That gives us that fuel, the fire. So, um, yeah, man. Like I said, I love the we're better watching on TV, watching competition, watching things like that. But those cameras were very, very making sure they didn't focus no one in the stands.
They didn't
Just on
deviate, right? Because there's no one to deviate to.
yeah, focus directly on the athletes. Let's get down. Let's do our thing. And then let's get this TV money, which NBC was all they was trying to do, get their TV
Yeah.
money so they can get those commercials. And then that was the end of it. That was the big, the big gist of it.
That's true. That's true. Let me see. What is he saying? Players and officials gave us so much, but the Olympics really are the pinnacle of the sport. True, I can understand that. I still don't know if it was the right thing to go through with the games. So yeah, we've talked
Yeah.
about that here before as well, right? It just almost didn't make sense, and I apologize. I will learn the rules before I speak again. I will make sure that I know what I'm talking about.
No, she said you had zero excuse. Don't
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't quote. She said you don't got no excuse not to know the rule.
I almost didn't put that on the screen there again. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So there was another thing about the Olympics that I wanted to talk about. Not hockey. I mean, not gymnastics. God, what was the sport? There was another sport. I told you last
Archery?
time. I didn't watch no archery, but I told you I was watching skateboarding and I was watching them young 13-year-olds do their thing. That I was impressed with that.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch. Dang, what was it? I can't remember. I'm an old man, and I told you I've been up since 3 o'clock with my son doing homework. So
It's all good, man. But
no,
I
it wasn't
think that
swimming.
I think that again, United States represented well. Let's not argue. They represented well. They didn't bring back all the gold that we anticipated, but they brought back enough gold and enough medals to represent our country as usual. Um, as you guys like skateboarding, I'm not so fond of it
Come
as
on,
an
brother.
Olympic sport.
What?
Yeah, no, 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 don't get me wrong. I think that those dudes that do the skateboarding in the X Games are some of the best. They're athletes, incredible athletes. But I don't know if that's an Olympic sport. that doesn't, to me, it doesn't qualify as an Olympic sport. I don't know why. I'm just saying my personal opinion.
So
I'm sure the
so
people.
what about golf? Do you think golf? So golf was new, kind of new, right? That was there too.
Yeah, I don't think that is either. I mean, because the pros play international, right? They play
True,
international games.
true.
Our basketball doesn't play international. They don't compete international all the time. They only compete international on certain platforms. What else is there? Track and field. They complete collegiately, U.S. wide.
Yeah,
They don't compete international.
true.
So I know why the Olympics come together, because you want to bring those best athletes together to compete to see who's the best. But skateboarding, you know, it's a subjective sport. Don't get me wrong, because you got to judge to see what they're doing, the flips and twirls and all that stuff, and it's good. And don't get me wrong, those dudes, I see X Games, and I'm so impressed. Like, damn, I don't know
Yeah.
what in your mind would make you do some crazy stuff like that. Number one, and it is competitive because who could do the tricks and stuff that the best. But you can't tell me, because I can't tell me, when those dudes go up and do a 360 and come back down, it all looks the same to me, right?
You don't have the trained eye, right?
Don't have a trained eye, and I'm like everybody else, wait for them to do the kind of the fall, who's gonna do this and who's do that. But I mean, otherwise, man, power to them young guys. They're incredible young athletes. They got incredible,
Yeah.
just talent all the way around. Because I don't, and I'm just speaking from being an old man like you. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know who in the hell would do it. That's just for you to get up on that damn big ass ramp and go down on four little wheels and then jump 6 feet in the air and come back down and try to land it. That's just crazy to me.
Not gonna do it. I'll be in the stands eating a hot dog. That's my role. I'm gonna be in the stands eating a hot dog. So
Amazed by every last one, because the person that came in last place, I thought they did an amazing job too.
yeah,
That's the crazy
right.
part.
Best in the world where they're competing. So yeah, shouts out and kudos to everyone that competed in the Olympics, and
Yeah.
hopefully it gets better. We know it will get better. Hopefully it gets more of what we're accustomed to and used to.
Hmm.
We we talked baseball. Let's deviate it. Let's pivot into that right now. We got a couple of
Yes,
other
sir.
stories that we want to talk about. You brought this up, and I knew the game was happening tonight. The Field of Dreams game.
Yes.
So great movie. I'm a look. You're a football guy. I'm a baseball guy, right?
Hmm.
I grew up playing baseball. I'm the guy on the mound and on first base. So I live baseball quite a bit. Field of Dreams game is happening tonight in Iowa, on the
Hmm.
field where the
Yeah.
actual movie was shot. I saw the beginning of the televised services. Kevin Costner walking out between the cornfields,
Hmm.
right? Everyone's all emotional. There's music playing. He's looking around, replaying scenes from the movie. 4,000 people in the town where the field is.
Hmm.
The MLB sold 8,100 tickets. So you and I could not have gotten a seat for the ticket because it was only for locals.
Correct.
Everyone who got a seat to the game, though, or everyone who wanted to go to the game, probably couldn't go to the game for the reason that the seats were $4,000. It costs $4,000 for one ticket to the Field of Dreams baseball game, and it's just a regular baseball. Yeah,
A regular baseball game. That's the part that gets it. It's just a regular baseball game. And the two teams is playing. I mean, the Yankees are good, but the White Sox ain't all that hot right now. So
man,
you gonna have me pay $4,000
both
to go
thousand.
watch that game, because it's based on I get the movie part, the movie and the nostalgia of the movie, but it ain't worth 4,000. You know how many copies of that movie you could buy for $4,000?
I could pay to have Kevin Costner come to my house and recite the famous line, if you build it, he will come, for $4,000. But yeah, they sold 8,100 tickets, more tickets than
Yeah.
are even the people in the town. It sold out, right?
Yes, sold out.
For $4,000 per ticket. And I understand that, but I couldn't do it. I could not
No.
justify it for a regular game. Yeah, I can understand where it's played and the whole backstory of all that. Kevin Costner walking out,
Yeah.
shimmying and holding baseballs. I just
Mm.
couldn't do it. So
But let's flip it on the other end.
yeah,
Baseball needs this.
yeah,
The
yeah,
baseball needs this, because they have done, and this is Major League's fault. They have done nothing to promote their brand in a nostalgic way where people will be interested in it. They
Wow.
just haven't. I mean, you have the All Star Game, which they promote, in the home run derby, but baseball hasn't been on that same level of platform since the Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, corked ball, or the whatever they said, the steroid or whatever the allegations, when the ball was hot and they was hitting jacking those home runs like they were going crazy. That's when baseball was at its hottest, and ever since then, it's been pretty much dead. As far as marketing it, you got to be a really baseball fan or a baseball enthusiast in order to really want to watch baseball. Where back when they were having that ball juiced, everyone was paying attention to who was
Mm,
going to be in the home run guys.
yeah.
Everybody was watching ESPN every night. Guys that didn't even like baseball was wearing baseball jerseys. Everybody was supporting who they was going to support. I mean, it was just, I'm not gonna lie, that I thought that was like, man, this is
Yeah.
like, and it didn't happen just one year. It was happening year after year. Who's going to be the home run
Yeah.
guy to jack up all those home runs? But you got to think, since that era stopped, baseball has done a disjustice for itself in this sport by not promoting it and marketing it, and giving fans something ideally to look at that was creative, designed, and marketed to draw new fans. It just I just don't
Yeah,
haven't
I agree with
seen
that.
it. They
Newer
just haven't.
fans and younger fans, right? Because
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
not everyone has 3 hours to sit for a 9 inning game, which typically can run, like I said, 2 to 3 hours. And if you go into extra innings, and seventh inning stretch is not enough sometimes, right? Again,
it's
how many times can you go get peanuts, popcorn? I can do it because that's what I do. But again, because I am baseball.
yeah.
But again, if you're trying to get youngsters in there, if you're trying to get the next generation to come in and
Mm.
enjoy. Uh, the strategy behind it. See, that's what I look at. I don't look at just a game, but I look at it from a strategy perspective. Because you're a coach as well, right? So you're
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah,
that's where I go to
yeah.
a game thinking about those aspects of it. So not just what's happening on the field.
See,
So
so you're breaking it down from you play the sport,
yeah,
you kind of know what the insights look out. But for an average fan, that's where I think basketball and football and somewhat even hockey has taken that leap over baseball for fans. The game of baseball, like you say, is very slow, very strategic, and it has wars within wars. The
yeah,
pitcher versus the
yeah,
pitcher versus the batter, the strategic who's on base and all that stuff, the outfield and where we're moving and how we're going to pitch to certain pitchers to kind of strategize how you're going to win. That's a very slow, methodical game,
yeah.
slow in that aspect. Where football, basketball, more up tempo, definitely attractive to more inner city. Hockey has been now more attractive in the Midwest and East Coast because
Hmm.
it's fast, speed game plays on ice, and baseball just I don't know for what reason America's sport, which is our grandfather sport that's there, has not been able to promote its athletes, hasn't been able to promote its brand of its sport the way those sports have been able to come alive in the last 25 to 30 years.
That's a good.
Um,
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. We got a Cubs fan in the building. Hold on. Shouts out to MDH in the building. I promise not to talk about your Cubs in fourth place.
slip. Okay, there we go.
No, but one thing that I also think that has hindered baseball, and again, I'm coming from a pro baseball mindset. There is so much superstition in baseball. Right, there's
Mm,
more superstition in baseball than I think any other sport. I mean, literally, don't step on the chalk lines. I mean,
mm.
just no flipping of the bats, no celebration when you one up the pitcher or something of that nature.
But
There's just so much that's behind the scenes. Again, that the new fan doesn't know or probably won't
yeah,
understand. That some of that will go over their head. Right, they'll miss
I,
all of the action.
I agree. But also, I ask you this question: Who's the face of baseball? Because every
Mike
other
Trout,
sport, McTrout,
Mike
guy
Trout,
never.
Mike Trout.
I never really heard of him. I know the kid. I know the kid from the Angels. The pitcher, the pitcher hitter on the Angels is really really good. And then Titus in San Diego is very good. The Padres is very good. And I'm
Yeah,
a Southern
no,
California,
yeah,
so they play those guys a lot. But I mean, for you to say whoever Trout is the face of baseball, it's not like you say LeBron James.
no,
We
that's
know
true.
that's the face of
No,
basketball.
no, that's true.
Tom Brady is the face of football.
Right, right.
Baseball, you'd be like, okay, well, who's the face? And that's where I think Major League Baseball has failed. Like, who was the face of baseball? Who we knew back in the day, Barry Bonds was the face, or it was the pitcher Johnson was the face of or Kurt Schilling or whoever. We knew the faces of baseball. They promoted the faces of baseball. We don't get that anymore, and I don't know why baseball has slipped so much in that, because it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. Going to a baseball game is an experience. I like it.
True.
It's relaxing. You can see the fans.
Well, it's a commitment too, right? It's a commitment of time
Yeah,
because again, it's 3 hours, right? If you,
yeah,
and
yeah,
especially if you go there during a 12 o'clock noon game in the middle of the
yeah,
summer, you're gonna burn up out there. So
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna go out there and spend $10 for a beer and
yeah,
$6 for some peanuts, you better be invested in what you're doing. But I completely hear you, and I see that
yeah,
like Melanie's talking about. Yeah, baseball is definitely ready for some type of a disruption. But
yeah,
what is that? I go to a
yeah.
lot of minor league games because the Sacramento River Cats are the team that feed
Mm-hmm.
into the San Francisco Giants. They're up here, and the minor leagues are looking at not a pitch count, but a pitch clock, right? So
Yeah.
how long it actually takes before the pitcher delivers the ball back to the plate. So they've actually got I think it's a 30-second clock out there after the ball is
Uh-huh.
thrown to the catcher. So they're trying to speed it up from that perspective. That really doesn't shave off many hours or many minutes from the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be more activity as opposed to, again, just that battle between
But
the pitcher and the batter. There's got to be more activity happening with the folks on the field too.
but see, I don't think it's the games. I don't think the game is so much is a problem
Mm,
as the way you market it. Because let's be honest, when College World Series is on, we're all watching ESPN highlights to see
yeah,
who's in the College World
no,
Series, who's doing,
true.
who's getting down. We're watching that. Baseball, you might watch some playoffs. You definitely watch the World Series. People watch the World Series. They might watch a little bit of playoffs, but you don't really catch those 162 regular season games. I mean,
Yeah,
you catch them
that's
here
true.
and there, unless you're an enthusiast. And I think it's a failure on Major League Baseball part to market their sport, because the sport, like you said, when you go there, it's phenomenal. I had the privilege of going to the Boston Red Sox stadium. I've been there with the monster and
Yeah,
everything,
man.
and to learn the history behind it, and the players behind it. And I thought it was so great that before the game, all the kids get to go down there and shake all the players' hands and get their stuff signed before the game. I was like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's something that you don't see, and it's a great moment for people that really love baseball. But again, like I said, I can't even tell you who the face of baseball is. Like you said, Trout.
So when
And I'm
was
like,
that? So I think about it. So probably if that was more than 5 years ago, so David Ortiz was probably still playing for Boston.
yes,
So
he was.
so right, Poppy was the guy, right?
Yes.
He was just boisterous, flamboyant. He was entertaining. So he at that particular in a particular amount of time was considered kind of the face of baseball because
Mm-hmm.
he was so fun to watch. He was decent out in the field. Well, he's pretty damn good out in the field, but he was
Mm-hmm.
he was a monster, with the bat in his hand. So
Yeah.
yeah, right now it's like an Aaron Judge from the
Yeah.
Yankees. It's Mike
Judge. Yeah.
Trout.
Yeah.
It's I'm trying to think of some other. I would say Madison Bumgarner from the pitching perspective, but that's no longer the case, right? He's
Yeah.
kind of on a tail end of his career. There's no one that's as exciting except for the guy from the Padres. He's the one that's right now. That
He's
I
a
think.
dude in the up and coming players. Hunter Green. I read about him all the
Yeah,
time. Hunter
Hunter
Green
Green.
in the
Yeah,
minor
yeah,
leagues. He's supposed to be the next phenom coming from the minor leagues. But again, I don't see no rally cry behind Major League Baseball to say, "Hey, this is the guy we're gonna pump and push in front, and let's go attract that younger audience. Let's show them in a different light. Let's make our stars bigger than life, like they do in the NBA and like they do in the NFL."
yeah,
They're not doing that, and that's causing them to lose a lot. I believe a lot of fan base. Now we also know we're on the West Coast. We have so much to do in the summertime than to
yeah,
go to a baseball game. Where on the East Coast and them, they look forward to going out to those summer days and summer nights and enjoying themselves and having some fun in the Midwest there. West Coast is a little bit different. We got people that are into surfing, football season coming around, people play basketball, party, the nightlife. We just have so much going on the West Coast that we will. I don't think there's many baseball enthusiasts here on the West Coast, at least in California in particular, than there is other places across the nation.
you
But
could
again,
actually be more broad than that and say, look, East Coast is serious about their sports,
yes,
especially their college sports, especially their college football.
mm-hmm.
We're fickle over here on the West Coast when it comes to sports, especially come to college football, baseball, whatever the case may be. We're fair weather fans. We are.
Yep, mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
need to you. If you've never been to a game in Auburn, if you've never been to a game in Alabama, and I've been to a couple of these, right? If you've never been to Georgetown
Yeah.
and felt the energy and how much it matters to people at these, I'm trying to get to a Clemson game. right? Because I
Yeah.
want to see him run down the hill,
Yeah.
hit that
Yeah.
stump. I mean, those types of things, you're not going to see as much of that energy here, unfortunately, and I really don't understand that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's from a fan standpoint. But I don't want to get off too much off cue. I think baseball in particular,
Mm,
just in particular, Major League Baseball has failed. I think its fans and promoting that and putting that one or two players in the forefront to draw, to make sure they drew more fans or drew more, more people that want to watch it and participate in it and see this big star play on Thursday or on Friday or whatever the Friday Night Lights game is. They just haven't did it just justice. So I believe this Field of Dreams thing is a ploy to kind of shake things up,
yeah,
get some talk and some buzz around baseball. I've even heard them talking about they want to play some international games now, take the two teams across the seas. Especially, I'm sure when COVID lifts up, that they'll go play in other places, to kind of to revive, the nostalgia of baseball.
right.
But as of right now, let's just say it for the record: Major League Baseball has failed Major League Baseball as far as
Wow,
marketing is concerned.
wow. And it's not a lack of finance. It's not, right? It's not
No,
a lot of money. There's tons of money in baseball. I almost would dare say that there's more money in the old school coffers of baseball than even a football. And
absolutely.
we know the
Hmm.
Jerry Joneses of the world on the football side. They got war chests. But
Yeah,
this is really where a lot of that old school money is. So
yeah.
that's interesting that, again, that they're not taking that opportunity or taking any opportunity. I know I see what Melanie's saying, that they're scared to give power. They're scared to have that conversation. They're scared to change from the norm, right? It's been the same way for so long, and it's working for the few at the
Well,
top.
I think that's an interesting statement from Melanie. Are they afraid to make a Latino or an Afro Latino the face of their game? 'Cause
Wow.
let's be honest. Let's be honest with you. They shunned on Barry Bonds. They didn't like him being the face. It was really shunned. They shunned a little bit on Sammy Sosa when he was a kind of the hot ticket. Then they moved it over to the pitching, and since that pitching's kind of been going to shillings, and I forgot the dude's name, the big tall 6'7" guy that pitched the ball for Arizona. Um, since then,
Johnson, Randy Johnson.
I haven't seen a face of baseball. Maybe like you said, Trout,
Yeah,
another I'm sure Caucasian male, right? I
yeah,
think he's a
yeah,
Caucasian
yeah,
male. Well, I hear Titus is supposed to be one of the best
yeah,
by far in San Diego. I know they have that pitcher with the Angels. He's Japanese. He won the
yeah,
home run derby or something
yeah.
like that. He's supposed to be the next guy. Okay, so does baseball not promote them because they don't want them to be the face and they just want Caucasians to be the face?
Wow.
As it historically has been. I mean, let's be honest with you. Baseball's not the. It has been a racist sport for years. It was very segregated for years. Um, and those owners haven't changed very much. It ain't like you got a lot of African American owners or Latino owners in Major League Baseball. They're minority owners,
Hmm.
but there's not a lot of majority owners of color. So majority owners is the ones that go to those meetings. Minor. I hope people understand that majority owners is the ones that get to go to the meeting and make the
Yeah,
decisions.
they're the ones that stand outside in
Yeah,
the hallway,
yeah.
right?
The old man that you see with the glasses back there that do I think that aren't doing nothing are the ones that are really making all the decisions. I'm just pointing out there. Really, are they afraid to make that change in the skin tone and color to be the face of their sport?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm being honest. I'm not quite sure if that's it or not, but it's damn sure it looks that way
yeah,
from Melanie's comment.
yeah. And she's pretty focused and knows what's going on. Again, she's been she lived in Chicago for a while. She knows the Cubs. She knows the sport and keeps track of that and seeing ups and downs, pros and cons. So it's really refreshing to hear someone like MDH talking about that. I mean, that's an interesting question. I would love to get someone who has played the game or is playing the game and get their perspective about it, right? We've had a lot of people on the show that either have done other sports, football or boxing, whatever the case may be. Maybe we bring Bracy back, right, and have a
Yeah.
conversation with him because he was pretty ingrained in the organization that he was with, and just see what that was all about. But
Hmm.
no, they'll never admit it. No one will ever admit it, but
No.
it is possible again. But there's some hesitation around deciding who is going to be the logo. Who's going to be like the face
Yeah.
of things of that nature, and got
Yeah.
to be pretty clean. You can't have any asterisks because Barry Bonds has an asterisk by his name right now. But
Yeah,
he does. True or not, he's
no,
got
no,
an
no, 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 no.
asterisk,
I'm not
right?
defending Barry. Barry has an asterisk behind it, but don't say they won't promote it because in Oakland they promoted the Bash Brothers, right?
Yeah,
Canseco
yeah.
and they both have asterisks.
Man,
Canseco and McGuire.
Canseco's
But
terrible. My God.
I mean they promoted that
Yeah.
there's that. I think local markets it's fine to promote the person of color and put that person of color in the front of your franchise. I'm talking about the landscape of baseball. Who is
Overall,
your guy or
overall.
guys that is promoting baseball? Baseball does not have that, unfortunately. It does, or I don't recognize it. And I know I see ESPN highlights enough where I've heard them talk about Trout. I've heard them talk about the tightest guy in San Diego, and I
Yeah.
heard them talk about other guys, but they're not definitive have a face. You talk about basketball. LeBron James and the Lakers are playing here. LeBron James is this. LeBron is the king. LeBron. Brady this, Brady that, Brady that, Brady this. Mahomes this, Mahomes this, Mahomes that.
Yeah.
Those sports are not afraid to hand the ball over to a face, and if it's a person of color, doesn't matter to them. They are promoting. They usually have a face of their organization. I don't even know who it is in hockey, but I know hockey does as well too. Uh, I know they're promoting a lot of guys in hockey, but I'm saying baseball doesn't, and I think Major League Baseball is a problem. The shoe companies is a problem because I don't see no Nike commercials on no baseball guys
Mm, mm.
or Adidas. I haven't seen them do anything. I know they get contracts, but I haven't seen them really promote any of those guys. I haven't seen too many of those guys on Gatorade commercials or whatnot. I think baseball is doing like I said, a disjustice to itself and the greatness of its sport by not promoting it more.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, the only folks that are being promoted on baseball, and I'm gonna make the little funny humor there, are chewing tobacco and those kind of things, as opposed to real shoe commercial. So again, maintaining that stereotype or maintaining that lifestyle, as opposed to again going out and reaching out to a Reebok or a Nike or something of that nature. But,
Yeah. Showing that lifestyle that they're living, man. I think that would be great for baseball.
and the other guy I was thinking about this was Bryce Harper, right? He's out there. He's in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
So for a while,
yeah.
he was again big face of it, but Bryce always gets into fights. So you can't have him representing your sport.
I mean, but I'm saying you got to find that one guy
Yeah.
to represent the sport. I know for a fact, and I say it. I
Say
know
it.
they have a problem with the Afro Latinos because of their accent and the way they speak broken English. It's a fact that it's very. I'm sure that's hard for media to understand and hard for them to kind of get that across to masses because majority of their fans are in the Midwest or in the East Coast. East Coast would understand a little bit more, but that Midwest area, I don't think they have an abundance of Afro Latinos, so they can kind of
Mm-hmm.
relate to it with the broken English. Um, that's okay though. I think you're supposed to clean that up. You're supposed to do polish that on up for that to be the face of your organization. I know the tightest guy in San Diego is supposed to. I know he's the highest paid guy. He's a really good player. Why aren't you promoting that guy to be the face of all of baseball? You know, and you can change it from year to year, but you got to, you really, you're absolutely right. Baseball needs a reboot. They really need to take a look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? We really do need to promote our diversity players. Have us a face out there. Let's start getting the next generation involved and start to learn to appreciate our sport because baseball is a great sport, man. But I mean,
Could be so
if you
much
don't
more.
promote,
Could be so
it
much
could
more.
be so much more. You could get some more. You can have people so much more involved in it. And I think you have to come up with things like this Field of Dreams and charge for thousands in
Mm.
order to promote your sport. Where basketball and football, even hockey, doesn't even have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have to do that no more. They're in a good place. So hopefully this works out for baseball. Hopefully they do some different things. But I really wish they would either address that issue or figure out if that's the problem with them showing a person of color as their guy they're standing behind.
Look at look at
100%.
look at look at the football guy talking baseball tonight. I'm just letting you go too, brother. I love it.
Yeah, man.
I love it, boy. You got something on your mind tonight, huh?
It's just the outside in opinion, man. I
No,
mean, I'm not a
third person looking in. Look, folks, if y'all want to come on screen and go ahead and collaborate and talk about this as well, don't feel nervous. Come and join, right? Because me and Montel are chopping it up here, and if you feel differently, we would love to hear the conversation. If you feel the same, we would love to hear the conversation as well. But it's all good. What is this here? What is it? Doug just said, "I'd rather watch this than ESPN. This is authentic." That's my guy now.
Ah,
That's my guy. All right, Doug, you got an extra point there from me, but I'm drinking to him. There you go.
yeah. You swizzle that on down for
Yeah.
Doug. Doug, appreciate the comment, man. I believe that I think we have introspective dialogue about things that that also matter along with the sport.
Yeah.
This is something that people just don't want to talk about, man. They really just don't.
Yeah. And
And I think they're afraid of Major League Baseball. I really do. Fox Sports, they're afraid because they don't want to say that, or if a person that's paid by them announcer says something like that, they'll get ostracized saying baseball is not racist. I'm not saying they're racist. I'm just saying they got a lot of failures and they're failing to promote what is dominant in their sport, which has been Afro Latinos and African Americans and Latinos
yeah.
for a long time. Not saying the Caucasians haven't been very good in there, but what I've seen, the dominant players or the people they promote is going to be dominant have been people of color. So why not promote that person in the face of color? This is we're global. You're global now,
Yes,
so
sir.
appeal to a global audience.
I love it. I love it. So, folks, I should probably make this statement as well for anyone who's just tuning in. So, just like MGH said, Doug is probably might be his first time. Team No Sleep. We don't talk about a lot of scores. We don't talk about a lot of goals. We don't talk about a lot of touchdowns. This really, the focus of Team No Sleep really is the social impact of sport. So we will go deeper into some of these more awkward conversations and the ones that the ESPNs, the Foxes, and the CBSs aren't talking about, and have that conversation. It gets awkward sometimes. We get loud. I start sweating. You never know what's going to happen. I throw curveballs to Montel, but again, just kind of like Melanie is saying, these are the conversations that need to be had, and we really are trying to bring a whole different aspect to this conversation instead of just what kind of shoes is LeBron wearing this week. How much money is Lionel Messi getting? He's getting a lot of money. Not he moved to another club. So, we don't just talk about that kind of thing. So we can digress and talk about that if we want to as well. Let's go ahead and move on to another sport. Let's talk about football and a couple of things in football. Another controversial or another hot topic. This vaccine, right?
Yes.
This vaccine, and specifically as it relates to athletes, specifically as it relates to some star athletes in the NFL who have decided that even though they've gotten COVID twice, they are hesitant to get the vaccine. I'm specifically talking about the Ravens quarterback, Mr. Lamar Jackson, who again is tested twice. He was asked in some interviews, "Hey, brother, you gonna get them shots?" He danced around it. He pivoted. He didn't pay attention. He decided not to answer with a straight answer, and I think that is an issue, right? I think it's an issue that, irregardless of what you may think about the vaccine, first of all, look at the science piece, right? So, Montel, I'm gonna throw you on right in front here. You were hesitant about it for a minute, right? Yep. And understandably so. But then you looked at the science. You looked at some requirements probably for your work environment and for just your standard of living, things you had to do. You went and got the shots as well. Do the proper research, folks, and understand that there's no chips in this one, right? The government's not tracking you on this one. It's not any of that. The robot's taking over. This really is saving people's lives. Now I'm starting to get a little excited, but
I think you're right. You're right.
This is the only way that we're going to get back to some sense of normalcy if folks do fall in line and actually take this serious. Lamar Jackson, again, has had it twice. We are seeing folks that are not just getting sick. We are seeing folks dying from this. They're not dying from a cough. They're not dying from a flu. They're dying from COVID-19. And this man has had it twice. He's a world-class athlete, 100% specimen. He's got 8% body fat probably. Right. He can weather the storm. But
no. See, what I disagree with what you're saying right there is that no, he can't weather the storm.
Well,
because when he catches it, now he has the ability to spread it.
That's where I was going to go. No, see, that's exactly where I'm going. But I'll let you continue. But again, that's what I'm saying. He's built different, right? He's got higher tolerance maybe. But again, don't be selfish and be cognizant of the folks that are around you, your teammates, your family, your children, folks within your community, within your sphere of influence. Do the research, do the proper research, get off of Facebook with your research. because that's not the right place to do your research.
Yeah.
And understand that this is the right thing to do. It's really a shame that Lamar Jackson, who again, a lot of people, a lot of kids look up to, right? Charles Barkley said back in the day, I'm not a role model because of, he was out there and he was doing his thing. But these guys, these athletes, men, women, and everyone, they are role models. Our youth are looking up to them. And you've got a 12-year-old who's playing Pop Warner football right now who's saying, you know what, I want to be a quarterback too in the NFL, just like Lamar Jackson. Look, he's not getting it. He's not getting the vaccine, so why should I do it? And now a parent has to have that type of a conversation with their child because they see someone who the child is influenced by not getting it. I talk to me about this, brother, because this story just came out again today. He had this press conference saying that he doesn't know if he's going to get the shot.
I am I'm disappointed, and I'll say this is the reason why I'm disappointed. And this is just a society thing. At what point does risk start to outweigh your morality and your belief? Because the thing is, the reason, it's a risk. You're risking your life. You're risking other people's lives. You're risking, spreading this to more masses. You're everything, and you're saying you don't want to take this vaccine because you're skeptical about it. Well, one, where's your skepticism coming from? That's the first question I would ask. And number two, it's starting to become a situation where it's going to start affecting people's money in the sports world.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar's going to start affecting money because if you are tested positive and you can't play, fans aren't going to come and we may lose the game. So now you're going to start affecting people's money. I think NFL owners have every right to say, if you want to play this sport and you want to play it at this level, you must be vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to get vaccinated, then you do not play in the NFL. There's more than enough players to replace you.
Yeah. 52 people out there standing on the sideline, next man up.
And there's more, and there's 100,000 trying to get in, not banging on the door, just trying to get their opportunity to play. I think at some point, owners are going to have to get involved or collective bargaining or however they want to do it at that higher level and say, just like we do at jobs, if you want to be able to come to our workplace, you have to get vaccinated. You have to show proof of vaccination and be vaccinated, because it's not the fact that if you get sick, James, it's the fact that, James, you're going to interact with 30 people, you can get them sick.
Yeah.
So now we have 31 people out.
That's crazy talk, man. Crazy talk.
And let's just say none of you have it severely, but that's 31 people that have to be in quarantine for 10 days. That's 31 people that have to work from home. That's 31 people that cannot productively create the things they're supposed to create to get for the company to get paid. Same thing with Lamar. You interacted with all 53 players. So you mean to tell me that now you have a chance to spread this to 53 players that all sit out, and we have the chance to start losing money and losing revenue? I think it just hasn't hit the NFL in the pocket yet, but when it does, I think there's gonna be some serious repercussions that happen. I know they're already talking about if you tested positive, you're gonna forfeit the game, and they're gonna move on with the season. That's good and dandy and all, but I believe there's gonna start being some more things going on. Me and Kier was talking about it last night. It's funny that and I'm gonna speak specifically for the African American. Why do we have this big stigma about not taking this drug? This ain't the Tuskegee experiment no more.
That's what it is.
This ain't the Tuskegee. This isn't that experiment anymore.
Yeah.
This has to do now with this is a more global thing that's going on. The vaccine is proven if you have the vaccine and you catch COVID, your symptoms won't be as severe and you don't spread it as much.
Yeah.
And I hate to be stereotypical, but if my thing, and I'm gonna say it right here, and the people can hate me all they want, I guarantee you, if the United States wanted to make sure they reached everyone that's in the urban area and people that they haven't been able to reach, tell them they cannot get their financial assistance unless they get vaccinated.
Wow.
I bet I think you'll have a line. You'll have a line of people trying to get vaccinated.
Wow.
You cannot get your financial assistance or your financial aid until you get vaccinated. And it seems like it's gonna have to get to that point for these people to start to come out of the woodworks to say, yeah, we're gonna get vaccinated. In my perspective, me looking at it from now on, I'd rather take the injection now and deal with the side effects 20 years from now, and be alive, than to catch COVID now and have the possibility of dying today.
That's real talk right there, folks. Right
That's just,
there. There's nothing else needed to be said right there. Exactly what Montel just said, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'd rather grow that third eye 20 years from now and be a Cyclops
You'd be
or
so cute.
Triclops at that point.
You'd be so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. But I'm living now. I'm alive now. I can weather the storm now with the vaccination instead of not getting it and having the possibility if I catch it, I'm gonna be going to the ICU and never coming back and seeing my family no more.
Folks.
So I just believe they need to really, really, really. We need to educate ourselves. We need to have a better understanding what's going on. Um, yes, and you need to be leery of who you taking your advice from. Like, who's telling you not to take it? And if they're
Again,
telling you not to take it, who?
your center of influence on Facebook,
Yeah,
right? And we
yeah,
can go
yeah.
into a whole conversation about
Or,
how those
or,
algorithms
or,
work, right? So,
Yeah, but
folks,
or is it your uncle? Is it your uncle down the street that work at
yeah,
the local car wash, or is it or
man,
is it your old grandfather
yeah,
that was way back in the days when they did do bad, terrible things like that? Is that your influence just telling you not to take this? Because you need to really understand where your source is coming from, and you having that hesitance of not getting this vaccine, because if you don't get this vaccine, man, you run the risk of dying now.
mm,
I'm not ready to check out right now. I'm not. I'm just
mm,
not ready. I got too much I want to accomplish in this world before I check out. And I'd rather deal if there is a ramification. I'd rather deal with it later on, and we'll all figure it out, and we'll all have the ramification, and live now than not have or take or play Russian roulette with my life right now.
yeah,
Because if you keep going out there and you're not vaccinated, eventually you're going to catch it. There's a billion people in China. There's millions of people in China catching it. There's millions of people in South America catching it. There's millions of people in the United States catching it. You are not immune to catching it. You're not a person that no one's immune. This
mm,
this doesn't see color, race, racial profile, money. We've seen rich people die from it, poor people. Everybody's dying from it if you catch this and you don't have the Vaccine. There are some people that are able to fight through it and get through it, but I don't want to be on a ventilator for 2 weeks. I
real
don't know if
talk,
people seen that.
real talk.
Man, that's not something
Yeah,
you want to be around.
you know,
Having that thing.
there are more stories, and I hate to cut you off, but I just thought of it as I said, and I'm getting old, so I got to say these things before they fall on my head. I've seen more stories of people who have been intubated, right, with the tube down their throat, and they're at that point trying to talk to the doctor and the nurse, saying, "Can I get the vaccine?"
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, at that point, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not here, folks, to tell you what you need to do around the four walls of your house. We're telling you to don't make a decision that's based off of incorrect politics, incorrect information, hearsay, fear, whatever the case may be. Do your research and understand that this is reality. Don't believe me. Don't believe Montel. I don't care. But I tell you what. If I was to catch it at this point, I've got both shots. I'm still wearing a mask every time I go to Target or where I go everywhere. I am going to be at less risk of getting incredibly sick from it than someone who has not gotten Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson, whatever the case may be. So that being said, look, we talked about the NFL and specifically the Lamar Jackson issue about not getting it, and it's crazy that his statement is, "I'm just going to worry about that with my family, keep my feelings to my family and myself." Quote. Again, he's being selfish because he's not really thinking about his family. He's being completely selfish. We wanted to go into how COVID would affect and does probably affect the younger athletes, college football, right? Because again, I'm more concerned about that just because of a couple of aspects, right? So the whole NIL thing, right? So you got athletes out there now in the public, out there doing their thing with the name, image, and likeness. Folks who are joining us for the first time know that we've talked about NIL for a long period of time, ever since it really came out. That's going to be kind of controversial and interesting as well, because again, now I got these 17, 18 years old. Do they start affecting their money? Because I don't want to get. I'm just gonna say I don't want to get the shot. But I got this contract now with Burger King to go over here and flip burgers for 8 hours, and I'm gonna get $800,000. I'm putting myself at risk. I'm putting the patrons at risk, the customers at risk. At the end of the day, I'm putting my team at risk. It's a different dynamic when you start thinking about these younger athletes who are not professional, because I think there's more of a responsibility for the team, the university, uh,
Yep.
the folks around them. Talk to me about that because again,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you out there again because you've got a son who's out there in this right now, right? Who's
Yeah.
a college
Yeah.
athlete who could be affected by some of these types of aspects, who could be approached by, I don't know, the Piggly Wiggly. Say what they got over there and where he's at. I just broke out with the Piggly Wiggly, but you know,
No, I think more than the NIL, it's more just the nature beast of COVID. I think colleges even got I think colleges got a little bit more control over the situation than the professionals do because
hmm
colleges remember their aspirations is to get to professionals and some colleges are saying you can't come to school unless you're vaccinated.
hmm
You can't, and that allows to you to participate in sports. If you're
yep,
not vaccinated, you can't play at the collegiate level.
hmm
Now that's their choice. That's the university's choice. Every university's not doing it, but I know a lot of universities are starting to go to that model because they want to go back to in person. The staff all has to be vaccinated.
hmm
Uh, all students have to be vaccinated, and so on and so on. With that being said, they want to control it because they know that's an enclosed environment where it can spread like wildfire, faster than anything in the world, in a big college party or a big college function. So they see the ramifications of that, and like I see they're getting a little bit more and more control of it. I believe by the time school starts for everybody, which
yeah,
will be September
yeah,
after Labor Day,
yeah.
I think majority, I would say 90% of the schools are going to require their students to be vaccinated.
Yes, I agree with
I
that.
really, I really, I really do.
I
I
see
think
that
they're gonna
coming.
require them to be fixed. So with that being said, I think the colleges will be okay. They'll be in control. Now, what they're saying right now, especially in the Pac-12, they're saying, hey, if you have to cancel a game due to COVID, where last year they were to reschedule the game, now it's an automatic forfeit. And I don't think people understand what that all entails. So you're gonna forfeit the game. Remember, you have to win 6 games to be eligible for a bowl. A bowl brings at least $1 million to your program
hmm
if you get a televised bowl. So now you're messing with teams if they win 6 games or if they lose more than 6 games, especially if you got to win every you got to be accountable for every win you want because you want to take your program to a bowl game. The bigger the bowl, the more money you get. You go to a lower level bowl, it's $1 million. You get to a mid-major bowl, it's like $3 million. You get to a major bowl, which are the big ones like the Sugar Bowl and all that. It could be anywhere from 10 to 15 million to your program
hmm
based on what's going on. So now we're talking about the money aspect,
Yep.
and how important it is. It's not only important to them as going to a bowl and winning money for the university, it's also important to that coach that they're hiring. Because if he doesn't win and he doesn't get to a bowl,
Coach,
and it was
athletic director, all of them.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and if it wasn't due to, just on the field, now it has to do to being irresponsible, and not getting the shot, and not being protected, and not taking care of yourself with COVID. It's a whole different issue now. That's talking about you don't have responsibility for your team and whatnot. Now you're looking at guys, people losing their jobs. Period.
hmm
So I don't, people just we get COVID, you forfeit the game. You don't want to forfeit games. You don't understand. If you forfeit games, that's hard. It's gonna be harder. Now you only got 11 games to make it to get those 6 wins. You forfeit 3 games, you only got 9 games to get that 6 wins. To try to get it. And remember, you're not guaranteed a bowl when you're 6 games. You're just eligible. So no one they can still not invite you to a game or to a bowl game. But like I said, we're talking about millions of dollars at this point
Real
for
money.
programs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real, yeah, like you said, very real money. Things that change the university. You get $1 million to a university. That's what does redo the basketball court. That builds that new dorm that everybody's been wanting,
hmm
and that attracts more people to come to the school. Um, so I believe it's more to it. COVID is now an important part in all sports, and definitely now in college football.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's going to be very important in college football. And from what I heard, I read, I forgot where I read it at. I think even some of the stadiums will be providing COVID for you to go to the games in the beginning. So you know how Michigan is 100,000 or holds 100,000 people. If you're not vaccinated, I think you got to show proof of vaccination to get in. And I'm not sure if it's Michigan. I'm speaking hypothetically. I think if you want to go to Michigan game, if you have to show proof of vaccination to get in. And two, if you're not vaccinated, you can get a shot there.
Really?
You could. I think that's one of the things that we're talking about, messing with offering shots at the
Okay.
games to get people vaccinated at the games, just so they can catch all the masses of people that they're missing, which makes sense. Hey, offer a beer. Hey, I want to go see my team play. Boom, you get a shot, go in there, and you're good to go. You at least get your first dose of vaccination, or you get the one Johnson and Johnson, and you're done with. So accessibility to getting vaccinated is everywhere, man. And people can't say they can't get it because me and my wife were just in Minnesota. They offered it at the airport. You can get vaccinated at the airport.
Wow.
So if you can get vaccinated at the airport, they've offered it. I've seen them go door to door to people's houses. They've always had these set up these pop up tents for
Hmm.
people to get vaccinated. Now they're starting to do it at local events and do it at local places for people to get vaccinated. People are starting to run out of excuses why they're not vaccinated.
Hmm. Hmm.
So now, and I know there's a big surge in youngsters and young people, but I think colleges are now going to start kind of being that haven where they're going to catch those people that haven't gotten vaccinated, maybe incentivize them to do it and start figuring it out, or they're going to just say you can't come to school.
That's,
I know
that may
some are
be the
just like
case.
you can't come here until you get vaccinated.
That may be the case. You can't come. You ain't got to go home, but you can't come in
You,
here.
you can't come here. So
Yeah.
I mean, but I think that's a good thing because they control it. They can
Yeah.
control who's in the thing. Whereas we talking about the pros like Lamar Jackson, the NFL and them haven't got a control on it yet.
Yeah.
I think, and I think they're so afraid. What if he doesn't want to get it? We're gonna lose our superstar. I think that's the risk you have to take for the
Exactly.
greater masses.
Exactly. Man,
For the game to go on, you got to take that risk.
for the greater good,
Yeah,
you've got to do that. You got to take that risk, and the risk is not
yeah,
that significant as some folks may
yeah.
think. So I'm glad folks came along with us on this journey because there was method to the madness for the way that I kind of went over the stories because I wanted to kind of end with this note and make sure we hammered that and have that social conversation that more again as we call it the awkward conversation at times and don't be mad at us, folks. We just telling the truth. Right?
Yep.
And if you don't like it, that's fine. Put something in the
Hmm.
comment, or I'll put the link back up, and we can stay online for a little bit longer if you want to, or come on the show next week and let's hash it out. But uh, my role here is really just to kind of stir it up, and Montel is the one who comes with the rapid fire and makes sure that you makes it plain. I think we did our job tonight, brother. I think we did our
Oh,
job tonight. You know,
yeah. You know what, man? I think we're doing our job. I think we're hitting on all cylinders.
yeah.
And people that watching, Emmanuel Ocho and Marcellus Wiley keep taking what we're doing. Stop taking what we're doing, because I see them dudes and they try to go to their little intricate part and taking what we're doing. I I see you, man. That's Team No Sleep. That ain't y'all.
That's true. I've seen
Quit
our stuff
man.
on major networks literally the day after or a couple of hours after we talk about it. I'm not saying that they're stealing from us, but I'm just saying coincidence is a coincidence.
But I mean, Emmanuel Ocho goes on these rampants where he's like, I want to get my perspective on
Yeah,
things. I
yeah,
got you, brother, man.
yeah.
But we've been doing that as a whole show. You're doing your 15-second bit
Just
or
saying.
your 20-second bit or whatever bit. Come on, man. I mean, I like you. We all on the same team because we're reporting news. But shoot, man, give brother a little credit. Give us a little shout out at least
Once
on the thing
once
what's going on.
once in a while,
You know,
let me throw this up here. Subscribe
yeah,
and make
yeah,
sure you pass the information on to someone. We
yeah.
need to fire up your YouTube channel so we can get you some love out there going. I know you got your Twitter presence and I put that out there, but we need to get you going on YouTube as well, brother. Because
Yeah. I'll get myself up and running, man. You know me. I'm always slow to the game,
I'm
but
just saying, when ESPN pick us up or CNN
hey,
pick us up, I'm gonna need you to be ready.
yeah, hey, man. I may be slow to the game, but I come out on MVP at the
That's
end. I'm
true.
coming out MVP at the end, so I'm good with it. And we'll definitely work on that. But I like to thank people that watch us, just the support. But also, man, I'm just giving perspective through my lens.
Yeah,
How
that's
I
all you
see
can do.
things.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent sometimes. And I mean, I've been the first to always admit when I'm wrong, or if I don't know anything. I don't know it, and I want to know more knowledge about it. But I do have an opinion. I think I can have a voice, and I think I can provide insight into a lot of things that are going on, especially in the social impact of sports and in our communities. What's going on? So I think my voice can really be a tie-in for that, as well as yours, James, as well as the guests that we have on here, as well as the people that watch this. I think it's a collective effort, to make sure we make change or make social awareness at the very least.
Yeah, there it
So,
is.
We good to go.
We doing our thing, folks. We appreciate you. Be good to yourself. Be good to those around you. Do your research. Do what you got to do. Take care. We'll be back. Are we gonna be back next week? I don't know what I'm
I
gonna be
think
doing.
but
You
hey, I
never
want
know.
everybody. Hey, do a check on that mental state because people are still going through it. Make sure you check on your friends and family. Make sure they're okay. If it's just a tweet, phone call, or whatnot, please do that check in because we're ramping up to another thing of COVID. We don't need what
Yeah,
we had last time where people would get isolated and didn't understand where they were. Well, they didn't have people that was around them that was supporting them. So please do that family check in.
that's it. I'm out. You out. Be good.
Salute.